July, Lancaster police investigating a death say they discovered 4 people being held against their will in Donnie Birchfield Jr.'s family basement. Officers arrested him in August, charging him with 16 charges, including financial identity fraud, false imprisonment, aggravated domestic violence, and 4 counts of abuse of vulnerable adults.
And just to think that this was going on right around the corner from our house, right around the corner from the park,
Right, you can hear some of the details. Now let's dive into this and then we can look at more of the clips. So here's what happened. Okay, on July 25th of 2025, police responded to a report of an unattended death at Donnie Birchfield Jr.'s home in Lancaster, South Carolina. So that's where this case takes place, in South Carolina, where they discovered the body of one woman, as in the body meaning the woman was deceased. Okay, this was the report of the unattended death. But then they also found 3 other individuals allegedly being held in the basement. Can you imagine being the police officers? You get this call for an unattended death. They go check it out. They're like, shame. Okay, somebody died. Let's go look. And then you find 3 other adults in the basement in deplorable conditions. That must be a shock. So, a husband and a wife and 2 other women had allegedly been kept in the basement in deplorable conditions, some, at least one of them, for over a decade. There's Donnie Boy. Yeah, he deserves all the snark, even though he's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Based on what I'm hearing, he's accused of doing what the hell. So again, there's 4 adult victims in this case. 1 is dead. The victims included the deceased woman's husband, who has a developmental disability, and he was found emaciated, weighing 70 pounds. That's 31 kilograms. So he was, on death's doorstep. And 2 women who had allegedly been in romantic relationships with Donnie, one since 2015. Now, authorities allege that Donnie denied the captives access to food, medical care, and communication with the outside world, controlling their cell phones, eating schedules, and bathroom use. That's one picture that the Daily Mail shared of the husband of the lady who was dead. The guy who weighed 70 pounds, right? A 55-year-old male. His name is Alvin Arnstoff and reportedly has the mind of a 12-year-old, according to his sister, who's been interviewed by the media. We will look at clips of her as well. When I see this guy, I just really want to roll my eyes. What in the hell? Now, 35-year-old Donnie Birchfield Jr. is also accused of using the victim's financial resources for personal gain, including shopping at Walmart and paying his credit card bills with their debit and credit cards. So there's a Walmart in this case, everyone. It's a crazy case. Also, I wonder how much. It doesn't matter. I just wonder how long the victim's money lasted, because the one lady, his alleged girlfriend, I would use the term carefully though, because it sounds like she's a victim. But apparently they were in a romantic relationship. And so there's also rumors that she's been arrested, because an arrest was made of a woman at the same address that isn't his stepmother or his sister. So they say it could be one of the girlfriends, because she had knowledge of the others and didn't report it to police. That, I'm going to leave it that for now, because yes, there's mugshots flying and she was arrested at that address, but I don't know. There's not too much else that I can say to verify that. Anyway, the point is, what is he doing? And his family doesn't know? He's like got these 4 people in the basement and they didn't know? Or what? What is going on here? And he's using their money? That's what it's for? That's the allegation, is his motive, his financial gain? Now, in 2015, Donnie had a girlfriend who moved in with him at his parents' home. So 2015, 10 years ago, and he's 35 now. So when he was 25 years old, he had a girlfriend. He must have asked his parents, can she move in? And she did. And she's lived there ever since, according to the probable cause affidavit. In 2019, he then invited a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, to live with him. And they don't know under which circumstances, except that the man and the woman were about to be evicted from their own home And maybe they also don't know how they met Donnie Birchfield Jr., but it could be through wrestling communities, because this dude loves wrestling, and so did the male victim in this case. And so maybe through wrestling, or maybe through the church, maybe his dad's church, I don't know. In September of 2024, he invited another female to live with him. Now, from everything that I've read online, there's not that much coverage on this case, but from everything that I was able to get from the internet, this woman is allegedly from Tennessee, and she's described as an elder woman. That's the only quote I've seen about her. And he abused her a lot, meaning, allegedly, based on the probable cause affidavit, we'll look at snippets from that as well. He strangled her. He threatened to kill her. He said that he knows how to hide bodies. So, okay. Over time, these 4 adults were allegedly confined to the basement, with Donnie exerting increasing control. Trigger warning, the abuse allegations include beating, strangling, torture. Victims were starved, denied medical care, and isolated from the outside world. The male victim, who was the husband of the lady who died, said that he never heard anything upstairs, but his wife, Shirley, who died, said that she could hear people upstairs. So it must have been quite, I don't know. I don't know how they controlled the sound, or, I don't know what the basement even looked like. We don't have pictures of that yet. It sounds horrible though. So he controlled their cell phone access, eating schedules, sleeping patterns, bathroom use. The male victim's sister was told the basement captives were forced to live in a tent in the basement, and they had to go to the toilet in a bucket. Donnie's motive seems to be financial gain. I would also add possibly sexual motives too, because of the 2 women that he was allegedly dating at the same time. So 2 women that he's having a romantic relationship with, and then this couple. And so he racked up debt on the victim's credit cards and funded his own personal expenses with their money. And he went to all these wrestling events, and he was posing with his favorite, wrestlers and things. So he was just doing his thing. He still has a Facebook page that's up. Yeah, all while this was going on. Now, the couple, the husband and wife, Alvin, 55, and Shirley, 49, reportedly were facing eviction in 2019, which is around COVID time, and they were invited to move in. Shirley, who died on July 24th of 2025, was described as a vulnerable adult and was under Birchfield's care. Now, I know we can't actually call it care, but under Birchfield's care. Alvin, a former weightlifter, weighed only 70 pounds, 31 kilograms when he was found. There were signs of abuse, denial of sustenance, a lack of medical treatment when her body was found. Lancaster police are still investigating. The local coroner's office is still working to determine a cause of death. And they say once they have that full report, there might be more charges, and I can only imagine there will be. Hello to Deception Detective. Thank you for side-eyeing this with me. I was like, what the hell is this case? Like, what is going on here? So this is a picture of the male victim who just barely survived being 70 pounds. And that's a picture on the right of his sister who spoke to the media. So Arnsdorf's distraught sister, Teresa Hinson, is determined to hold the entire family accountable for the emaciation condition of her mentally challenged brother and the death of her sister-in-law. And she was looking for her brother for years. She was wondering, where on earth is he, right? Okay, so let me continue to play this. We're going to continue now. Okay, we'll look at the presentation, but I want to play this clip for you a little bit more, and then show you the clips of the male victim's sister as well.
Right around the corner, and there are other children. It's not just mine.
Warrants state Birchfield Jr. used victims' bank information and credit cards for his own financial gain. Other documents allege Birchfield was in a romantic relationship with one of the female victims, who claimed she was held against her will since November 2015. Investigators say he prevented victims from going to the bathroom without his permission, wouldn't feed them, and prevented them from contacting loved ones. He's also accused of choking one victim so long she lost consciousness. Then someone in the home died, and officers say it wasn't reported until the following day. Officials say more charges could be on the way.
There are a lot of different things that have gone on that now, while they may not be directly related, they do tend to make a little more sense.
Yeah. Christy Barnes has been one of Birchfield's neighbors for more than 10 years. She says she never interacted much with the father and sons, but called the mother and daughter nice people.
Feeling that human aspect of it, I feel terrible for all the families involved, individuals involved, and the things that everybody's going through.
Lancaster police are still investigating, and the coroner's office is still working through the cause of death. In Lancaster,
So we will have to wait for that result as well. Let me show you this clip quickly of the male victim's sister speaking to the media. Okay.
It really makes me sick that I couldn't do nothing.
Teresa Henson, still full of emotion after learning from police that her brother, who she couldn't locate for years, was trapped inside the basement of this house with his wife.
I want to know that. I want to know why. Why them? I mean, of all the people in the world, why them?
Warren say police came to the house in July where the wife was found dead, and officers discovered a total of 4 people held against their will in the basement by the suspect, Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr.
He was like 70 pounds. From what they said. I mean, he looked feeble.
Henson says that's how her brother looked after she visited him in the hospital.
He really didn't say anything because I think he was still like trauma and in shock. I walked out of the room and just busted out crying because it was just so heartbreaking.
She says her brother has a developmental disability, but he was very independent and lived on his own until a few years ago when he disappeared. She's waiting for more answers and wants justice for her brother and his wife.
I'm hoping he gets charged to the fullest extent.
Me too. And I wonder if more people will be charged based on what we're about to read. Let's have a look. Okay, so this is from the probable cause affidavit. I have the full document, but I've taken just the most important parts out and also redacted the address as well. So, the sister of the male victim said, I was told they were made to live in a tent inside the basement. They were made to use the bathroom in a bucket. He denied them medical care. He denied them food. He stole their money. They were not allowed to go anywhere unless Birchfield was with them. He was physically and mentally abusive towards them in every way you could think. He's evil, pure evil. If the man was to walk out of the jailhouse today, I would be standing there and he wouldn't make it. I think she's a Grizzly. She's like, oh, I'm looking straight at him. So let's have a look at this little snippet from this probable cause affidavit. It's 16 pages long because he's facing 16 charges. And we'll go over all of that, what all the charges are. But if you just look here, it says on 7/24 of 2025, so the 24th of July of 2025, 1. Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr. did willfully and unlawfully violate South Carolina Code of Law, there's the code, neglect of a vulnerable adult while at that address, his parents' home, within the city limits of Lancaster. The defendant was the sole caregiver of the victim, who subsequently died. There is evidence that the victim was physically abused and was denied sustenance and medical treatment. The victim also was not allowed to leave the residence and had no access to receive help. Probable cause is based on, but not limited to, investigation by law enforcement, witness statements, physical evidence, and officers' body-worn camera. This case was investigated by Detective Sergeant J. Brown with the Lancaster Police Department's Special Operations Unit. So that is how he was caught, because one of the 4 adult victims died. So an unattended death was reported. And I don't know how, at that point, how he thought he would get away with this, because you're reporting an unattended death. They're coming to look at who died. It's a lady. And then there's her husband that weighs 70 pounds. And then there's 2 other females living there too. And they're all saying they've been kept in the basement for years. Wow. Alvin, the 55-year-old male victim, is now being treated at a nursing home facility, and his sister says he's getting back on his feet. She said he's gaining weight and doing okay. She says, quote, he could have died like Shirley. We don't know her cause of death yet, but it was probably not being able to eat properly or have medical care. But Henson, the sister of Alvin, said Birchfield happened to come along and say, hey, y'all come and live with us. And then some years ago, I began to lose touch with Alvin. I used to see him everywhere, yet he just kind of vanished about 3 years ago. So that would be in like 2022-ish, right? So just after COVID. So if they moved in there, the husband and wife, remember the wife died, and then the other 2 females were in a romantic relationship as it's described and reported with Donnie, but it sounds like an abusive relationship, of course. But if they'd moved in there in 2019 because they were going to be evicted from their rental home, there's a lot that can be swept under the rug during their time because of COVID, right? Everyone was on lockdown. Nobody knew. And from then on, unfortunately, Alvin's sister struggled to get hold of him. So the anxious sister eventually got her brother on the phone and was told, hey, I'm good. You ain't got nothing to worry about. But 6 months ago, I got the police to get in touch with him, she said, and he gave them the same story. I'm convinced he was being manipulated to say that. I tend to agree with her. What was I supposed to do? I believe what my brother told me. Unfortunately, Alvin has the mentality of a 12-year-old, and a lot of people have taken advantage of him. Amid Henson, the sister's heartbreak is guilt. She said, I feel a lot of this is my fault because I could have stepped in more and stopped this before it got out of hand. Shame. I don't think she should blame herself. I think the person to blame right now is Donnie Birchfield Jr. And then I'm also looking at everybody else that was living at the house, especially because they are very outspoken in defending him, saying the media is twisting things and that he is innocent. Well, yeah, until proven guilty in a court of law, but damn. I would assume in the court of public opinion, things are not looking good for Donnie. On August 1st of 2025, Donnie was arrested and he faces 16 charges. So the Lancaster County, South Carolina mugshots page on Facebook actually summarized it so nicely. I like this list. So you can see they go from 16, 15, 14, they list them all. So there's exploitation of a vulnerable adult, financial identity fraud or identity fraud, financial transaction card theft, exploitation of a vulnerable adult, financial transaction card fraud, domestic violence, high and aggravated nature, false imprisonment, there's 4 of those, abuse of vulnerable adult, 2 of those as well. He's being held on that's not a very high bond, hey? You better knock it out. Church better not pay for that. A $150,000 bond in the Lancaster County Detention Center. I would assume once the autopsy results come back of how Shirley actually died, and if they can say murder, I think that bond will change. His attorney, M. Ryan Payne, has stated that his client maintains his innocence and looks forward to litigating the case in court. The investigation is ongoing and additional charges may be filed. Yeah, because they're still investigating everything. Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr. is a 35-year-old resident of Lancaster, South Carolina. He's the son of a pastor at Friendship Baptist Church. His father and stepmother, who apparently met in 2000, and adult sister, lived at the property too? And they insist on his innocence? He was known locally as a professional wrestling enthusiast, frequently attending events and posting photos on social media with wrestlers. Yeah, but did he work though? What else did he do besides allegedly abuse 4 vulnerable adults? The pastor's son, this is from the Daily Mail, accused of holding 4 people captive for years in a basement, carried out his alleged heinous crimes under the noses of his devout father and stepmother. The Daily Mail can exclusively reveal. Okay, now let's have a look from the probable cause affidavit. So there's 4 victims, right? The girlfriend since 2015, the other girlfriend, and then the husband and the wife died. Girlfriend since 2015. Again, trigger warning, some of these details are not easy to hear. On 7/25 of 2025, one Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr. did willfully and unlawfully violate South Carolina Code of Law, false imprisonment while at his parents' house, the city limits of Lancaster. Donnie was in a romantic, intimate relationship with the victim, which has been ongoing from November of 2015 to July 25th of 2025. Donnie routinely assaulted the victim and would control everything that the victim would do. This would include everyday needs such as consuming sustenance, using the bathroom, and having necessities available to her. Donnie would not allow the victim to leave the residence unless he was present with her and only with his permission. Donnie would also control her utilization of her cellular phone and any other communication device, oftentimes texting friends and family on her behalf or physically preventing her from calling anybody for help. Whoa, this dude did that too? He impersonated them? Okay. And so probable cause is based on, but not limited to, investigation by law enforcement, recovery of evidence, victims and witness verbal statements, and officers' body-worn camera. Then the next one, there's obviously multiple charges for each victim. This says on 7/25 of 2025, one Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr. did willfully and unlawfully violate the South Carolina Code of Law, violence of high and aggravated nature while at his parents' house within the city limits of Lancaster. Donnie cohabited with the victim, whom he was involved in a romantic or intimate relationship with. This relationship and domestic-related incident has been ongoing from November 2015 to July 25th of 2025, and the victim was held captive in Donnie's basement and only left with his permission and with him being present. See, that's why I don't want to call this a romantic relationship. This is abuse. She's a victim of abuse based on what they're saying here, right? So let's not insult the victim by saying romantic relationship. He's a predator. Okay, that's what it sounds like to me. The victim has been physically assaulted numerous times, being strangled to the point where she lost consciousness. Donnie would control the utilization of her cell phone, oftentimes preventing her from calling for help and or socializing with any friends or family. Isolated. Donnie would also control the victim's intake of sustenance and everyday needs, such as having to ask permission to use the bathroom. Probable cause is based on all of those factors again. Then the other girlfriend, one Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr., did willfully and unlawfully violate the South Carolina Code of Law. And it says violence of high aggravated nature as well, it's worded very similarly. This says this relationship has been ongoing from September 2024 to July 25th of 2025, and the victim was held captive in Donnie's basement and only left with his permission and with him being present. The victim has been physically assaulted numerous times, approximately every day. Donnie would control her utilization of her cell phone, oftentimes preventing her from calling for help, and has routinely strangled her during some of the assaults to the point where she thought she was going to lose consciousness. During the assaults, Donnie would make threats while actively assaulting the victim, saying that he was going to kill her, harm her family, and explain how he knows how to get rid of a body from past experience. Donnie would also... Why is he not charged with like attempted murder? Okay, please, more charges. We hope to see that, right? So, I know they have to prove that, but still. Wow. So, okay, he's bragging that he could get rid of a body from past experience. Oh, really? Do tell us about that past experience, Donnie boy. Donnie would also control the victim's intake of sustenance and everyday needs, such as having to ask permission to use the bathroom, and all of that, as he did to the other victim as well. Yeah, Jenny Lynn says, past experience, goodness. I know, right? Now, the male victim and wife, I mean, he must be distraught as well. One Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr., this was on the 24th of July 2025, did willfully and unlawfully violate the South Carolina Code, false imprisonment while at his parents' house within the city limits of Lancaster. The defendant was the sole caregiver of the male victim, and denied him access to sustenance, medical needs, communication, and would not allow him to leave, keeping him in the basement of the aforementioned location. The victim's wife, who was also kept in the basement, subsequently died in the residence, and it was not reported until the following day. Wow. Then the next one says, one Donnie Ray Birchfield, okay, so within the city limits, yes, the sole caregiver of. There is evidence that the victim was physically abused. This is the lady who died, Shirley, and was denied sustenance and medical treatment. The victim was not allowed to leave the residence and had no access to receive help. Birchfield is also accused of pillaging Arnsdorf and his wife's bank accounts, allegedly using more than $11,800 to pay off credit card debts. It's also claimed that he spent at least $2,000 at Walmart on their credit and debit cards. Wow. And again, at his parents' house? So his stepmother says, a dear friend on Facebook, just redacted their names. His stepmother says, a dear friend posted this and I feel it's relevant during this time. Not everything you read or hear, even in the news, is always the full truth. Before resharing or repeating something, take a moment to pause. Okay, let me take a moment. Yeah, now I'm going to share it, all of this. Bring out the handcuffs. Okay, silver bracelets for everybody. As believers, we're called to lift others up, not tear them down. Yeah, there were 4 adults in the basement and 1 died. Not tear them down. Instead of spreading words we can't be sure of, let's choose to pray for the situation and all the people involved. The news, social media, and then it goes, that's just a snippet that was shared on social media. I don't have the rest. But they're in full support of Donnie Boy, saying he's innocent. Ma'am, you kept 4 adults in your basement. 1 died. The man weighed 70 pounds. Okay. The other women are saying they were strangled almost to death and assaulted almost every day. Yeah, so let me just see. Wait. Carrie Weber said, my guess is the four got money for disabilities and he stole it. I was also thinking that. I didn't see it listed anywhere, not in the documents. I'm sure there's going to be more financial crimes revealed, right? But that's what I was thinking, because they're saying that they're vulnerable adults. So maybe they got money, as you said, for disabilities, and maybe that's why he would target them. We're speculating now. Okay, Little Busy Brain says, I say the father and others must have known about this, right? Like, what the heck is going on here? Now, his sister, the adult sister who also apparently lived in the house, said, before you share or repost anything about my family, please stop and put yourself in our place. It's not a good place to be. What if it were your son, your brother, or your friend being gossiped about and judged online? Judged by the court of law. The Attorney General's office is prosecuting this. Spreading speculation, repeating unverified claims, and adding commentary only causes more harm. It's not helping anyone. Okay, why did a lady die in your basement? Why did her husband weigh 70 pounds? Why is it being said they were forced to sleep in a tent and use a bucket as a toilet? Why was your brother spending all their money? I will not be responding to any comments, positive or negative, as this is not a debate. We will not remain silent forever. Probably not, unless you read your Miranda rights. Might advise you to remain silent. Sure, this makes me so angry. Oh my word. And then to like enable him. No. So that's what we know. That's all we know so far. I wish there was more. I wish there were like more clips, more interviews, more everything. There's one more. I found one more here. And Law and Crime has also covered it twice. I see 2 videos. They also put the Twinkies picture on their thumbnail too. I was like, yeah, found that picture. And I'm like, there's Donnie boy who can do no wrong. Oh no, he's like Donna. Sweet, sweet baby boy living there. With 2 girlfriends? What's that all about? And we know it can't be their choice, right? That's what they're saying. Just look at him. Oh my word. What does he contribute to society? He's stealing from people, allegedly. Here's one more clip.
We're live at 5. New tonight, a reunion years in the making. A man who was held hostage in the basement of a home in Lancaster is now back with his sister. I'm Erica Bryant.
I'm Scott Wickersham. She says she tried to reach him for a long time, and when she finally found him, she was appalled.
He was like 70 pounds, from what they said. He looked feeble.
South Carolina reporter Tina Terry was the first to report this terrible story last week. Tina, that sister tells you she's still not sure how her brother ended up trapped in a basement.
Yes, Scott, she searched for her brother for years, even filing a missing persons report. But she says she wasn't able to locate him until police found out that he was in a basement in this neighborhood.
It really makes me sick that I couldn't do nothing.
Teresa Henson, still full of emotion after learning from police that her brother, who she couldn't locate for years, was trapped inside the basement of this house with his wife.
I want to know that. I want to know why. Why them? Of all the people in the world, why them?
Warren say police came to the house in July where the wife was found dead, and officers discovered a total of 4 people held against their will.
And you saw, just look at the house. It's a beautiful house, nice neighborhood. The neighbor's also shocked of like, wait, what? You would never know. I know in these cases, it's like stating the obvious, saying, but you would never know. Just look at it. There's a pastor living there with his wife. And then his son and daughter are living there. I wonder where their mother is. But anyway, that's just questions. We've got so many questions. I would also like to know the ages of the female victims, right? The one is described as being from Tennessee that moved in there September 2024. How did he meet her? Was it online? How did he get her there? What's going on? Was she also a vulnerable adult? Because they're saying the news reports it as like 4 vulnerable adults kept in the basement of this home. Okay, but is it 4 vulnerable adults? Yes, in a way, but the 2, the husband and wife, they were apparently vulnerable adults. Like the male, his sister said that he had the mind of a 12-year-old. So even that, I wonder how they met each other, how they got married. There's so many questions, but we know their ages, 55 and 49. Now, the other 2 that he was in a romantic relationship with, apparently, which is abuse, he was abusing them, according to the probable cause affidavits. The one is described as an elder woman. They didn't say elderly. It's just like quoted as elder woman from Tennessee. Don't know. That could be, who knows? Whoever wrote that, how? What do you mean by that? And the other one, I've seen one mugshot. I can actually show you. I'll show you this mugshot that's floating around on social media where they say that this other one of the females was arrested. Where is it? Oh, is it this? Wait. Looking for it. This. They say that this is one of the females. So this is speculation because I do not have proof of this. But this is on social media in this case, with people reporting on this case. Recentlybook.com, Berfilia Ali's Tovar. They're saying for required person failure to report abuse knowingly. This is allegedly the girlfriend that was there from 2015. I wonder how old she was in 2015, you know what I mean? Was she a child? I don't know what's going on here. But that's scary. So I'm just monitoring this one because she was arrested at the same address, you know, this address. And they say failure to report abuse. So local media in Lancaster, South Carolina, put 2 and 2 together, and they were reporting, oh, this must be one of the girlfriends. This must be the long-term girlfriend because she was there from 2015. The couple moved in 2019, and the other lady in 2024. So they're saying, they're speculating that she had known about all of this going on with the other 3 the whole time. Right? But the thing is that it sounds like he abused her too. So I don't know. But there's one picture. Oh, so many questions. Anyway, I'll keep an eye on it. Please also keep an eye on it and send me things if you see updates. Let's continue. Let's watch this clip here quickly.
Covered a total of 4 people held against their will in the basement by the suspect, Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr.
That's it. There's really not much local news other than that. Like, I've shown you everything I could find, including the document, speculation about, oh, is that the girlfriend that was arrested, and everything, the timeline of who moved in there and who lives there at the house and where it is and all of that. Okay. Ooh, but I've got lots of questions. But damn, Donnie Boy sounds terrible. He sounds very sadistic based on the charges that he's facing. I mean, to, let's say, lure and kidnap 1 victim would be bad enough. 4? And then you're spending all their money at Walmart? And you're paying off your credit card bills with that? I mean, that would also be, yes, those are charges, he's innocent till proven guilty in a court of law, but they obviously have evidence, a lot of evidence already now, digital evidence to charge him with that, to say that, well, you were using their cards. Well, these people were starving to death in the basement. Wow. Okay, so thank you so much for studying this case with me. Now, I can't go out and get some sunshine because it's almost 11 p.m. in Switzerland. But I hope if you still have sunshine, go out, have a nice walk, because some of these cases, they're really disturbing, right? I find it so disturbing, especially when it's like in plain sight, when just nobody knew. And these 4 adults obviously must have been really wanting help, but how were they going to get it? And we don't know the condition of that basement. What did the door look like? How many bolts were on the door? How many locks were on the door? Why is there a tent in the basement? Did the parents and the sister and all of that, they didn't know? They didn't hear anything? How did he feed them? What did he feed them? All this. So many things. So, Bicep G was on with Vinnie P last night. She was great as usual. Hope you all saw it. Thank you so much. If you go to courttv.com, because I don't think it's on YouTube yet, go to the website, courttv.com. Then you navigate the top menu, go to shows, Vinnie Politan Investigates, and it's the top one there. The Amish case, that one against Samuel Hochstetler is what we were discussing. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll keep an eye on this case as well and let you know if there's more charges or if there's more answers. I hope the news is encouraged to continue to report on it. Don't be scared now. Don't be shy. Don't be a stranger. We want to know things. We want to know everything. So please leave your comments below as well. I always like reading those, and I'll see you again in the next one. In the meantime, stay safe.